Hello there, I'm Jimmy Vegas, and today I want to talk about Resident Evil 9 and the main characters. So there has been a rumour recently saying that Jill Valentine and Leon Kennedy are going to be the two protagonists of Resident Evil 9. Now, I've made several videos on what I believe Resident Evil 9 will be all about, its world, its characters, and all things like that. And I don't think Jill Valentine and Leon Kennedy together in the same game is going to work as intended. I just think this is a baseless rumour based on, well, nothing. Nothing at all. It doesn't make sense. Yes, Jill Valentine is a popular character. Yes, Leon S. Kennedy is a popular character. However, the poster boy for Resident Evil is Chris Redfield. Claire Redfield, his sister, doesn't really get seen that often, although she is a fan favourite. Yes, we're not going to see Rebecca. No, we're not going to see Billy. Yes, we're not going to see Steve. No, who cares? You know, all of these side characters don't matter. People want to focus on the main character. Now, if we look at Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8, Biohazard and Village, they had one main protagonist, and that was Ethan, and that was separate. It was a whole other arc of the Resident Evil franchise, and people loved it. It was great. However, we kind of thought there would be a third one involving Ethan, but there isn't. Capcom have outright stated that Ethan will not be involved in 9. Now, does that mean that Rose won't be involved either? Because there is a little rumour going around as well that Rose will be involved. No, the Ethan Winters arc is over. It was 2 games and a bit of DLC, and that was it. He will not be involved, his family will not be involved, Mia will not be involved. None of these characters. But it still comes back to Jill and Leon. It is feasible that those 2 characters could be in Resident Evil 9, but I genuinely don't believe that will be the case. I believe it still will be Chris and Leon, not Jill and Leon. It makes sense to have Chris. It just absolutely makes sense because, like I say, he's the poster boy. He's the boulder punching hero of the whole thing. Leon, I would say, is a favourite, but not to the same standard as Chris. They can easily market Chris Redfield. If you hear the name Chris Redfield, you think of Resident Evil or Biohazard if you're in Japan. If you think of Leon Kennedy, you think, what's that game? Oh, Resident Evil. Takes you a moment to think. If you hear Jill Valentine, you think, oh, Resident Evil. You do see that what I'm going at here. Jill and Chris? That works more than Jill and Leon. Chris and Leon? That works better than Jill and Leon. Therefore, why would they have Jill Valentine and Leon Kennedy in the same game together like this? They just don't mingle together. They're not in the same kind of existence together. Let's look at all the Resident Evil games. 0, we had... Look, we'll forget about 0. No one cares about 0. 1, we had Chris and we had Jill. Cool, they worked together. 2, we had Leon and we had Claire. They worked together. Brilliant. 3, who do we have? We had Jill, back from the first one. In 4, who do we have? We had Leon, back from the second one. In 5, we had Chris, back from the first one. But we had Sheva. Sheva won't be in 9. In 6, okay, look, 6 is a little bit different because we had Leon, we had Chris in the same game, yeah, but they were together. You know, I think this was the first time they ever kind of integrated together, because obviously there is, you know, a scene in Resident Evil 6, without going into spoilers too much, but if you don't know what happens in Resident Evil 6 by now, then I'm not sure why you're watching a Resident Evil 9 video. Going into 7, we had something different once again. 8, again, it kind of followed on from 7. So there's never been a real canon point where Leon and Jill have been together. So why would they be in the same game as the main protagonists at this point? It would not make sense from Capcom. They need faces that are familiar to each other. I can see Leon in there to a degree, but it doesn't quite make sense to me for that to happen. Now, I truly believe Capcom are going to remake the remake of Resident Evil for the 30th anniversary in 2026. So to have Jill and to have Chris in the same game in Resident Evil 9 wouldn't quite make sense, because you'd have 2 consecutive games, one year after the other, where they're the main characters. So although it would make a lot of sense to have Jill and Chris, no, I don't think that will be the case. And like I say, I'm going to stand by it, that Leon and Jill together in the same game doesn't work. That's why I truly believe that it will be Chris and Leon. Maybe some other side character. I mean, ultimately, it probably went better you know, if they carried on the Ethan Winters arc for an extra game. You know, to be fair, I enjoyed the whole first-person thing. But anyway, do you think these rumours about Jill and Leon being the two main characters are legit? Is it really going to happen? Or who do you think is going to be the main characters of Resident Evil 9? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.